Okay. Hello, Patricia. Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Linda?
Very good, very good. So nice to have you on the call today. And I'm very excited to hear about your business and what you do and a little bit about how you got involved with what you're doing. And so if you can start off by introducing yourself and then tell us, the background behind why you became a life coach.
Okay, well, first, thank you for having me. I do appreciate that. Yeah, so I'm a life coach, divorce coach, and relationship coach. And everybody goes, why are you those three coaches? And I say, well, the reason I sort of blend those together is because I work with people that are dealing with a lot of emotional awareness. So, and this is what made me want to decide to actually start becoming a life coach. So, and how I started was years ago, I was running a support meetup group. And that's how working with these people and seeing what they were going through, they had a lot of emotions that they had to deal with. So I thought, well, why not become a life coach and extend my skills and work with people that way. So that's where I kind of started and came up with the idea of wanting to become a life coach. But my previous background is I've done a lot of course developing, and I used to do parenting classes and all over Peel. And I used to, help people with their children and learning natural and logical consequences. And I sort of got that niche of just doing courses and course development and sort of getting involved in that. And that was the birth of it, and it grew from there, working with people and sort of getting involved that way. So there's a little bit of everything in me that kind of like sort of got me wanting to become a coach and really helping people. And that's where it sort of started, right?
That's amazing. That's good. And was there some personal experiences that you had in the past that you want to share with us that gave you the motivation to do what you're doing?
Yeah, I went through a lot of difficulty as a child. My parents separated when I was 4 years old. So I had to deal with abandonment, and I was raised by my father and my stepmother, and she wasn't doing very well in the sense of she was very abusive and verbal abusive and physical abusive, etc. So, and I had to get out of that sort of history of my life. So that took me out of that sort of situation. So I had to sort of develop myself, become the person I want to be. And it wasn't easy. I had to figure out who am I as a person because I didn't know. I didn't have any tools. I didn't have any parents to be there as role models or anything like that. So as a child, I took that into my adulthood and struggled who to discover who I was. But I worked through it. And as I worked through it, I realized I had to, become the better version of myself and be who I really wanted to become.
Mhm.
And then I went through some separation and divorce. And so I had to deal with that, lost my home, had to deal with that. I had two children I had to raise. My ex-husband left me, so they basically had to support my children on my own. So going through that, it gave me the experience of being independent and growing, right?
Mhm.
And with that, then it also gave me the experience of separation and divorce. And and it's emotional, and you go through a lot of emotions, and you're dealing with a lot of things. So going through all of that created a stronger version of me
Mm.
because I had to survive on my own. There was nobody there.
Mhm.
No one was going to come and save me. So
Mhm.
I had to figure that out. So by doing that, gave me the tools. And then, of course, in the career that I had, putting all those together, created the person I am and really helped me to want to help others going through it myself. So
Mhm.
I do talk the talk and walk the walk. I really can say I've been there,
Mhm.
you
Mhm.
know, and I know your struggles. I know your pain. I know your emotions.
Mhm.
So as a coach, that's what I offer my clients. I can say, yes, I can help you. I understand what you're feeling.
Yes, absolutely. And it's good that you recognized that you had to make some changes because I find a lot of people, they just continuously blame their parents, their upbringing, and they don't really break out of their emotional state, let's say. So I'm pretty sure you've come across that many times too, right? Where people just,
You're absolutely right. Yeah, I use this phrase as once you become an adult, it's not your parents' responsibility anymore, it's yours.
Amen.
And yeah, and it's absolutely true though. You're an adult. You now have to be responsible for your own actions, your own behavior, your own, whatever you decide to do with your life. And I always say there's a fork in the road. I could have taken the path. My father was an alcoholic, a weekend alcoholic. He drank on the weekends. So the story just goes on, which I can't really actually tell the whole story today. But so I could have taken the fork in the road and lived the life of my parents, my past, that behavior, or I could take the fork in the road and say, I'm going to make a better version of me. I'm not going to take that path. And that's what I decided to do.
Beautiful. Did you have a life coach, or maybe back then, it was even hard to find someone like that because we didn't have the internet, let's say, handy like we do now, right? So I guess you just did this, on your own probably, and
Yeah, I did. A lot of self-help books too. Just even, learning just the practical way of doing things, reevaluating, having tools. Being a parent educator was very beneficial because it gave me a lot of tools to work with. So
Mhm.
I use those tools and practice those tools. Nothing just comes like by itself. You have to put the work in it, right? It's like
Mm.
a diet. You can't lose weight if you're going to eat a hamburger and fries, right?
Right.
And,
Yeah.
and have a Diet Coke, right? Like it's just not going to happen, right? So
Hmm.
for me, I wanted to come and become the version I am. So by doing that, I run by my values, my morals, my integrity.
Mm-hmm.
Use that as a base,
Good, good. And
and I follow that. Yeah.
what is the difference, Patricia? Because I know there's a life coach, divorce coach, what else? Other coaches I've heard, relationship coaches. What is the difference between the three?
Well, there is a difference when they're solo on their own because they each offers a certain type of program or type of coaching, right? For me, I use those three for the fact that it's all about emotional awareness. So when you're going through life crisis, you're in emotional state. You can't be clear on what you decisions to make. You're emotional, you're crying, you're brain fog, you go through different stress things. So that's where the life coaching comes in. And I personally can help that person work through personal development. Then for me, going into the divorce part, well, the relationship part and divorce kind of matches because what better coach as a divorce coach can help a relationship coach,
Hmm.
being a relationship coach and helping relationships. I have every story, every scenario that I can help you with to prevent you from having to have a divorce.
Mm.
Now, there's a time and a place where you come where you're checked out, right? And if you checked out of the relationship, then you obviously are going to get a divorce. But if you can save your marriage, save your marriage. So for me personally, there's those three categories, and I do combine them together.
Mm.
Now, other coaches just specifically deal with one thing, and it could be just relationships alone, or it could be just divorce alone, or like coaching. But for me, I combine them together because of the three types of niches that I use under the emotional state.
Mm.
So that's where my base comes in as a coach. I use that. I
Mm.
actually have journals as well. I have they're on Amazon. You can get them for emotional state. There's three books that I have out there for different people that are dealing with things that they can use. So they can go to Amazon and look them up.
Mhm.
One's called Inner Struggles to Gaining Personal Power, which is a very good journal book for I use with my clients, keep
Mhm.
them aligned with their thoughts. And the other one, emotional awareness, is for somebody that wants to do it on their own. They can just get the book and sort of take it upon themselves. And if they think they can, it's a self-help book and it's in stages. So it's a 31-day challenge that they can sort of restructure their thoughts and feelings.
Mm. That's
And
fantastic.
I also have another one for post-divorce. So if, again, they're going through those emotional state, they can reach out and get the book to keep their thoughts aligned. And if they
Mm.
can't do it alone, they can reach out and I can help them.
That's amazing. Have you helped people, like, even if they weren't divorced or anything like that, but maybe they just had an upbringing of having parents that just dismiss their emotions and they're not able to express, how they're feeling? I guess, do you have a lot of clients like that? Because I can imagine, it's not just for people who go through these struggles of divorce and breakup.
Actually, I've had all different ages of clients and different stages. Yes, I have. I've
Hmm.
had younger people in their mid 20s, early 30s come to me and dealing with just their situation in life. They're stuck. They know they need to move forward. They're just not sure how to do it. They need some guidance. So I've helped them go through that. I've helped some young people with their relationships, sort of not really, how do I take it? What do I do? I had another young man. He was sort of stuck in between because he had just had a divorce and then he had to rebuild his life. He was kind of, who's the new me? So I helped them. And then I've helped other older people and the sad part is they were married for like 25, 28 years
Mhm.
and getting a divorce. And it was like, wow, all those years you invested in this relationship and now you're getting a divorce. So I have helped different stages. Yes, I've helped different age groups and I've helped couples work through their marriages. And yeah, so that's why I can't really say I'm just, sort of doing one thing because my coaching skills have opened up to different
Mhm.
levels of people in their lives, which is
Mhm.
really keeps it interesting for me.
Mhm. And if
Yeah.
you could give some of our listeners, let's say, some advice on how to overcome some emotional challenges that they face, after a divorce or after a breakup, what would be one exercise that they could do, maybe right after they listen to this video that might help them?
Well, one, they can get the book, which will
Yeah,
help
right.
them. But yeah, that will really guide them. But I want to get the message out there to say that is your life, you're going through a storm, and that storm is not going to be forever, right? It's going to change. And that's what you have to sort of look forward to is that it's in the moment and you're going through the struggles right now. But if you just take your time, step back, reflect on what's really happening, and put a process in place, you could get through it.
Mhm.
You could get through it. But you got to put the work in to get there.
Mhm.
Um, so, yeah, but, just I look at it as you're in the storm. You're going through the storm in the moment, and
Mhm.
that storm is going to go away. And then if you look back and they just say, well, what was my life like 3 years ago or 5 years ago? Was it really as bad as it is today? And
Mhm.
probably not.
Mhm.
So that's another reflection to say that life is just in the moment. That storm might not last forever. Well, it won't last forever.
Mhm.
So work
Mhm.
through the storm.
That's good.
Mhm.
That's good. And then people that maybe even discover 10 years later, they never really dealt with their past and they're hanging on to it. What would be a good tip to give that person besides the journaling and things like that that they could do to.
Well, they have to work through letting go and have closure. If they don't have closure for what's happened, I could reflect back on all the past of what my stepmother did, what my father did, all of those things that happened to me, and I can live in that and be sorrow and not move forward and just be stagnant. But I've got to let that go. And the biggest thing is forgiveness. You just really got to forgive them.
Mhm.
And not for them, but for yourself. And
Mm.
when you forgive them, and understand there's a process too for forgiving. It's not just saying it doesn't happen today and going, okay, I forgave. No, there's a process, like you have to work through those emotions to forgive.
Mhm.
But if you can start that and really help towards for yourself is forgive,
Mhm.
because you'll be surprised that how much release that gives you and how
Mhm.
much freedom it gives you.
Mhm.
Because stop living in the past, live in today, and be excited about the future.
Absolutely. Well, tell us a little bit about your coaching program and what you offer people and how it works.
Well, like I said, there's the three types of coaching that I do. There's different programs. They can go to my website, and there's different things that I offer. In where they, I usually base it. There's courses as well, so we can take it as a course, and they can come on my website and sign up for a different modules, and we can take it step by step. And I customize all my programs. So the most important part for me is talking to my client,
Mm.
getting to know you, getting to know where you are in your life, and then I will customize it and make it fit for your needs. So
Mhm.
that's where I specialize in. I do have courses because there is a bit of a structure to it. So definitely there is that. If people feel, yes, these are the topics I need, yes, we can work with that. So then, yeah, so I offer courses, I offer personal coaching, I have my books that they can go online and they can purchase, or they can come out and just do a one-on-one. So there's different stages and different things than programs that I have.
Amazing.
Yeah, but the most important is when it's really getting to know the client first. I
Hmm.
really need to know why they're stuck or what's happening in their life. Um, I just don't want to coach them. I want to guide them through whatever situation that they're in because that's what's most important, right?
Hmm.
Um, but there
Absolutely.
will be other programs coming. I'm in looking to do some sort of group coaching as well, but that's not in the works right now, but it is coming.
Awesome. And how would people get in touch with you?
They can go to my website. It's patricia-lavigne.com. Uh, Everything is on site. I have Facebook page. I have Instagram. They can reach out there. I have a LinkedIn page, but they can definitely go on my website, which is patricia-lavigne.com. Um, and reach out to me. And they can text me first and we can set up an appointment and we can do a consultation and then we'll see if we're a good fit. And once we're a good fit, then we'll work go from there and work into their future and building some new memories and happy, life and
Yes.
getting excited about tomorrow and stuff like that.
Absolutely. That's amazing what you're doing, Patricia. And I'm so honored to have chatted with you today and for you to share what you're doing for people because I think it's wonderful and people definitely need to get in touch with Patricia. And if you're going through any struggles like that, because I'm sure that she can help you, and then you'll live this beautiful, wonderful life and, let go of the past as we talked about before, because that's really heavy and weighing on your shoulders, and you don't want to carry around all that weight. So, and being
Yeah,
a weight loss coach, we should be living light, as in my business name, Live Light by Linda, because you don't want to be carrying around these heavy bricks on your shoulder forever, because it can really affect, the way you are with everyone, right? At work, with your partners, at home, and just your overall happiness. So, thank you again, Patricia. And I look forward to, chatting with you again soon. We'll do another session maybe one day soon, and we'll chat even more and we'll get in deeper about your workshops and whatnot that you're offering to clients.
that's great. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
I and it's been a pleasure to do this as well. And yeah, I look forward to the future of doing this again. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay. Take care, everyone. Thanks for signing in. Bye.
Bye.